Sheryl Lee Ralph is finally moving in with her husband, Vincent. Hey, check this out. In 15 years, the two have been in a bi-coastal relationship for 15 years. According to a source, regular visits every 2 weeks is no longer enough.
Traditional values on the way things work ain't for everybody. Sheryl Lee Ralph has been smiling for 20 plus years. No issues, no problems. So she did what works for her.
Hello, and welcome to Storytime with a Grown Woman. Swag and the W is silent. Thank you in advance on the intro. We're going to get right into this story. So, Chad Johnson and Unc Shannon Sharp, of course, you may know they have what's called Nightcap. That's their podcast here on YouTube. And they were recently talking about Sheryl Lee Ralph, and that she's finally moving in with her husband after 15 years. They lived on two different coasts and maintained their marriage throughout this time. So as you heard Ocho, he said sometimes traditions just don't work and you have to do what works for you. Now the thing that I don't care about is what he said regarding them not having problems, her smiling all the time, you know. And Sheryl is an actress, and you can never say no one has problems. I don't care what kind of smile they put on their face. You can never say a person doesn't have problems, because everybody has problems. Shannon was surprised at this because he grew up with tradition. I grew up with tradition. And this is nothing new. Kevin Samuels talked about it before, and we're going to listen to a clip from him. And so he talked about it before. So that's where I first heard about it. And I was like, that's perfect. Kevin Samuels said that he felt living apart together, that's what it's called. He felt like that would be great for anybody who's the only child, anybody who has spent the bulk of their lives alone or not sharing a space, because it's hard to leave your space or bring someone into your space. Now, when I got married, I'd never lived with anybody. That just has never been something that I would do. But when I got married, I welcomed, my husband into my space, because we chose my space to be in. And I didn't have a problem with it, but some people do. So this is not uncommon. But it made me question, and I was just talking to a friend of mine about traditional marriage. I asked him, do you think it's obsolete? I said, it's just so many things are changing now, and should I just stop talking about it? Is it obsolete? But as Ocho said, you have to do what works for you. And with Sheryl Lee Ralph, this works for her. Now, her husband is a senator, and the person that I was talking to and having this conversation with, he's worked behind the scenes with politicians for the last 20 years. So he knows a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything going on at home, but we live in a different world now. And there's a lot of access to a lot of things that could be causing Sheryl to want to go home. And again, I'm not saying that it is, but you have to be real about things. And for her to just suddenly say, it's time, this is not enough, that's to me is stemming from a conversation when she said, we're not seeing each other enough, or something to that effect. That is a sign that there was a conversation had. And it's like, you need to get here, because I'm out of control, or I'm about to do something that I'm going to regret. It was some serious conversation, an uncomfortable conversation that I feel was had. But again, this is not uncommon. So let's listen to Kevin Samuels and a little bit of his take on living apart together, and we're going to come back.
If you have people over 30 who have spent their bulk of their life becoming individuals, everybody is not a Christian, okay? And some people are only children. Some people live in different places. There's something called living apart together. Why is this important? Because human beings did not always used to live in the house of their wives. So human beings, for most part, have had more of a history of men being gone. And one of the problems today is I think men and women are in too close for proximity.
So yeah, guys, you know, Kevin, again, he talked about him being an only child, you being of an age where if you spent the bulk of your life alone, if you're the type of person who has a hard time sharing your space, like this is perfect for that individual. And eventually you guys will come back together, because as Kevin said, even back in the day, men would leave home and go to work because it would take so long for them to get to their destination by horse and buggy. So they had no choice but to go away. So they was married but living apart together. And so this is nothing uncommon, but with the turbulent times that we live in now, I think Sheryl and her husband are attempting to get a handle on a situation that they may have. Kudos to them for being together this long, being able to live apart this long, getting on those planes, going to see each other every couple of weeks. Shout out to them for that. But I have to look at this with the side eye. So guys, what do you think? Is that something you would consider if you got married, living apart together? Let's talk about it, guys. And as always, thanks so much for listening. And if you haven't, please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification so you'll know when I upload a video. And as always, I'm see you in the next one. Bye.